on. Without further ado, like I said, I would like to welcome you all to today's session, centered around the theme of Uncover Your Purpose, Connecting with Your Being. I'm Carissa Plaikis, your host, and on behalf of Agile People Ops, I would like to extend my gratitude to each one of you for being part of today's gathering. This series of sessions is poised to reshape our collaborative learning experience, offering boundless opportunities for both personal and professional growth. So these sessions take place every second Wednesday of the month. I would like to introduce now to you our speaker for today's session, Ms. Sunam Gulati. She holds the prestigious designation of ICF PCC and serves as a coach trainer, a facilitator, certified NLP practitioner, and an image consultant. With a rich professional background spanning 15 years, she has accumulated over 600 hours of coaching experience and has successfully facilitated programs for more than 5,500 individuals. Her passion lies in empowering individuals to recognize and harness their full potential, achieved through heightened self-awareness and a focus on leveraging their strengths. Her offering is tailored programs, webinars, and both one-on-one and group coaching sessions. She's dedicated to facilitating transformative journeys for individuals. A very warm welcome to you, Sonam, and to whoever has joined us as audience members. So over to you, Sonam. The stage is all yours.
Thank you so much, Carissa. A very warm welcome to all of you and wishing you all a very happy new year. This is our first session of the year 2024, and I'm ecstatic to have all of you here for today's topic, which is uncovering our purpose and connecting with your being. So I'm curious to know from all of you, what do you think being is? Messages in the chat box, or you can unmute yourself and share.
Hi, I'm sorry. Can you repeat what the question was? I didn't.
So today's session is about connecting with
Yes.
your being, right? So my question to all of you is, what is a being? Who is a being? Being is what is. Interesting. Thank you, Samuel. I see a message which says I can't hear. Am I audible to all of you? Nature of our existence. Very well said. Yes, I'm also going to be sharing my slides with all of you. So we meet every second Wednesday, and these sessions are designed for you to interact, for you to share and open up. And starting with today's session, when we talk about doing and being, what occurs to you? Our doing and our being, they're two different aspects. Any responses in the chat box? I think being in this case is referred to ourselves, to our thoughts, emotions, and feelings. Absolutely, Lucas. Thank you for sharing that. So when we talk about our doing and being, we are always occupied with different tasks that we do. Are you all able to see my screen? A thumbs up. All right.
Yes, we are able to see.
Thank you. So what you do, your tasks, your actions, your behaviors is something which relates with our doing. It's always visible what you're up to. Are there any goals that you're trying to achieve? That's what relates to our doing. And when we talk about our being, like a lot of you said, it relates to who we are, our existence, ourselves. So that's pretty much what it is. Who we are, our values, our thoughts, our beliefs, what is not visible, but it shapes us. That's what our being relates to. When we talk about doing, we're focused on reaching a particular goal. It's the journey that we take from point A to point B. And while we are focused on the doing part, our mind is also always active. It's evaluating, it's thinking about the past, the present, the future. Any experiences that we have, what we learned from that, what can we try now. So that's where our doing occurs. And when we talk about our being, when we're in the being mode, the mind has nothing to do and nowhere to go. We're just fully present in the moment. It's what we experience moment to moment, and it allows us to be fully present and aware of whatever is here. In the being mode, we do not try to change anything. We just are absolutely okay with what it is. We have thoughts, they pass, and we just become aware of them. We just observe them, we just notice them, and they're there. We become more aware of whatever is happening in the moment, but we're not trying to change anything at that moment. Now, what happens is the changes that we make in our life, they focus more on the doing part. What we are doing, how can we do it better? And which is why it becomes hard for those changes to sustain. Because the transformation that happens based on that doing happens at the being level. And it just happens. There's no force, there's no trying to change anything. It's just the awareness that makes it a transformation. So when we're in the being mode, we're just absolutely fine and okay with wherever we are in the moment. So there's this beautiful quote by Wayne Dyer. He says, "I'm a human being, not a human doing." Don't equate your self-worth with how well you do things in life. You aren't what you do. If you are what you do, then when you don't, you aren't. We're always trying and striving to do something. And when we focus on the being level, or how we relate that doing to the being, is something that we all are going to work on now. So let's reflect. What are those things that you've been doing, and who have you been being in the, say, last 6 months? You can also shorten the time period and make it 3 months if you like. But let's just pen it down. So there's an example here for you as well. The first example is I have been working on the 2024 plan for my department. That's something that I'm doing. And who I'm being in that moment while doing this is I'm being responsible. I'm being visionary. The example too is I've been writing my daily journal. And on the being mode, I'm being expressive. By doing that, I'm being expressive. So similarly, I would invite you all to take 2 minutes and just reflect on what have you been doing. And while you're doing what you're doing, who are you being? Just make a list of whatever comes to your mind. And once you do make a list, you could start raising your hands. Anybody who's completed it so far? All right, let's take another minute. Thank you, Samuel. Somebody tried writing something on the screen, is it? All right, so whoever's completed it, let's start having some sharing here. And we can add on to this list post today's session as well. Because now what we have to see is we want to observe the relationship between the two, the doing and the being. And also understand where has your focus been. So Samuel, Gisela, who would like to share?
All right, I can begin. Am I audible?
Absolutely.
All right, thank you so much for the opportunity to share something. So on the part of doing, I have noted one thing. I have been researching on so many things. And then on the part of being, I'm being strategic.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other one, I have been networking with different people. On the other part, on the part of being, I am living my purpose.
You're living your
Sorry?
purpose. Interesting.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And then the other part is investing in personal. I have been investing in personal growth through trainings, and then I am being assertive because I've come to know more about myself. And then the other part is I've been taking stock of my daily schedules. Then I am being time conscious. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Samuel, for sharing that. Anybody else who wants to share? All right, so let's expand further on Samuel, what you shared. So I heard you say a couple of things that you've been doing and what you've been being in relation to that. So while you're researching, you're being strategic, while you're networking, you're living your purpose, right? So I would like to understand more about you being strategic. If you were being strategic, what all would you be doing?
All right. So in being strategic, I did mention the part of researching, and in the context of research, I have been finding certain opportunities that have been helping me to understand what it means to be strategic. And besides that, it is also to invest my time in strategic leadership. And I can mention that I was able to attend one of the webinars that was organized by the British University College that is based in the United Arab Emirates. So they
Mhm.
organized one of those trainings, and I was able to get a certificate afterwards.
Thank you for sharing that, Samuel. And if the being came first and not the doing, right? So we're talking about the task and the being. If the being came first and the doing later, what would you like to talk about your being? Who have you been being in the last 6 months?
Is that addressed to me or it's to everyone? Sorry.
So if you're comfortable, Samuel, it could be a continuation to your conversation, or the floor is open for anyone to share. Yes, Gisela, please go ahead.
Hello, everyone. Sorry, I was trying to unmute myself, but I was having some issues. So I think I can just go ahead. Oh, first of all, Happy New Year to everyone. I hope we're all having a
Happy
great
New Year.
2024 so far. Yeah, so I think I'll just go ahead and start from the beginning with the doing and the being.
Mm-hmm.
Two things popped up in my mind when you posed the question.
Mm-hmm.
So the first one was for the past, you said the past 6 months, right? So I think I've been doing this for a bit longer, but yeah, we'll stick to 6 months. I've been following a workout routine. And when I think of it and I ask myself, what am I being when I'm doing that? And I feel like I'm being committed because it's something you have to be committed to. Another thing I've been doing, I guess, over the past 6 months is working on a book. I love to write. So for this one, it was a bit more complicated for me to answer. Um, I guess the easy one of what I'm being with this one is creative.
Hmm.
But when you bring in the context of what comes first with are you being or just doing what you're doing make you be? I guess that's something you're trying, yeah, that kind of context. I feel like with the writing, I'm just being myself.
Hmm.
So yeah, being me makes me express myself through writing, I guess.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Wonderful. Thank you
that's
for sharing that, Gisela. So, what I invite you all to do now is observe the relationship between the two. Where has the focus been in this period that we're referring to? Is it more on the doing or is it more on the being? And you can reflect on it, you can share if you want, because what happens is it's a human tendency, right? We have so many tasks to complete in a particular day, in a particular month. We have goals, we have targets. Life is moving fast, and we are moving as fast as we can. So we're typically occupied in those goals, in those targets, in achieving something, which is great. So there's no right or wrong. The point is just to be aware. There's no right or wrong in this. We're just trying to explore the relationship between the two and understand where your focus has been on the doing part or the being part or both. Sometimes here, sometimes there. It's just to understand that. So, a small reflective exercise for that. Yes, Samuel.
All right. Thank you so much once more. On my side, I am of a view that I've been spending so much time on the doing so that
Mhm.
I get to explore more and bring out the being. So
Hmm.
on the doing part, as I did mention to say that I've been researching, I've been also networking in the context of different things involved. I'm just summarizing the networking
Mhm.
part and also leading people, training people in different, in leadership as well as personal growth, as well as attending different events. By
Mhm.
doing that, I've come to realize the part of being. I am
Hmm.
being time conscious, I am being strategic, and I'm also being a master in terms of my own potentials, what I'm able to do and what I'm not able to do. And then
Hmm.
also the part of being assertive in certain situations based on the kind of reaction I ought to give to a particular situation. So that is what I can say. And in summary, I can say that the doing is coming first in this regard to bring out the being. But the being is intrinsically in me. It is just being brought out by virtue of me
Hmm.
spending time on the doing. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Samuel, for sharing that. It's a great share and a great insight for you as well, I believe. Yes, Giselle. Yes,
Okay.
Gisela.
I think for me, it's actually different. It's the opposite of what Samuel shared. I would
Mm-hmm.
have to admit 2023 was a very self-reflective year for me.
Mm-hmm.
I think before that, I spent a lot of time doing, trying to become. And because of that, okay, I won't really go into detail, but I felt there was so much I was missing out on when it comes to, I guess, trying to get that self-actualization. And in 2023, I kind of took a step back and decided to reflect on who exactly I am and what I want. And I think when I started doing that, when I started reflecting on myself more, trying to figure out exactly who I am, I started doing these things. So I feel like for me, it was more of a sense of I'm going to be me. And then by being me, this thing started to come out like, okay, I want to write my book. I want to publish my first book. And I started to do that. And then trying to be me, I thought, okay, I want to work out more. I want to be committed to this. And I started to do that. So I think, yeah, it was kind of in that sense for me. The being came first and then the doing.
That's really interesting. Thank you, Gisela, for sharing that. Just give me a moment to fix my charger. It stopped charging. Yes. So it's really interesting how we all are at this doing and being mode. And for some of us, the doing is coming first and then the being. And for some of us, the being is coming first and the doing is coming. And we all go through these shifts on a regular basis. It does happen. The point is to be able to connect with our being and be able to just feel that, be aware of that, and catch yourself where is it coming first? So I can see a question here. What if you lose your being because you're in a traumatic time looking for new position? It could happen to anybody. So how can you connect back with your being is the question now. What is it that connects you with yourself? If you just have to be, not being busy in any task, just being aware of what's going on with you. So as John Kabat-Zinn says, that it's the awareness of what's going on in our mind and body and not fighting it out, not saying that this is right or this is wrong, just letting it be. So we all have these ups and downs that we go through, and along with that, where do we catch ourselves back is what is important. So I can see Samuel's written, this calls for self-reflection. Aristotle quotes, unreflected life is not worth living. This means moments of a reflection will help understanding whether a new job is part of our high values or low values. Very well said, Samuel. So any point in our career, whatever we're going through, is also a challenge for our being. It's how our being copes up with it and how comfortable we can be in our own skin without that role or without that tag. And it's a journey, it's a transformative journey. It's what you make out of it. So the next graph that I'm showing to all of you is about how we move up and down in this being and doing curve. Are we in the being mode? And what happens is if we're just being and not doing anything, then also we could get lost. Or if we're just doing, we lose a connection with our being, right? But these ups and downs, these phases do happen, right? As you see the vertical, this middle axis, which there is a shift in that being and doing, and it can also go up and down. It can also start from here to here to here. So this graph can be any way for any of us. And again, there's no judgment in that. It's just where we are. And it's about being okay with that, being aware of it, feeling it, and with that, connecting with yourself and moving on to where you would like to, with where your being takes you, where your doing takes you, the starting point or the movement. It keeps changing. We all have these graphs. We all. It's how we connect ourselves back. So the next thing that we're going to do is, okay, there are a lot of zigzags now. Just give me a moment. Yes. So the next thing is this model by Wiersma and Morris. It's based on the Lips Wiersma and Morris model, which talks about purpose and meaning. So if we put this doing and being on an axis and self and others on an axis, we have these 4 lovely quadrants in front of us. The first one talks about, when we're talking, okay, just a second, my battery is going to run out, it stopped charging. I can't understand what happened to my charger. Oh, thank God it's back. Yes. So when we talk about the first quadrant, which is doing and self, we're trying to express our full potential, our personal growth. We're looking at leveraging our strengths. We're building self-discipline and perseverance. When we talk about our doing with others, we're looking at service to others, where our purpose starts coming in, our contribution, and how we're making an impact, and what impact we want to have, we wish to have. When we talk about self, and we talk about being. We're being oneself. It's about our self-knowledge, our authenticity, our wholeness. And when we talk about being with others, it's about our connection, our sense of belonging, how we identify with others that we're looking at. So now this being and doing has been bifurcated with self and others into these 4 beautiful quadrants. And we're going to delve deeper into this model as we start coaching through this model. Right? So this model is for you all to have to be able to refer to and find yourself which quadrant are you doing what in. Right? So we're going to get started a little bit with our coaching with this model, and we'll dive deeper into it in the next session. So as you're aware, we are doing one topic across 2 months. We start with the topic, we delve deeper into it in the next month, every second Wednesday that we meet. So next month as well, we'll be covering purpose and meaning. And to get started, I'm going to invite all of you to just take a deep breath in and relax yourself, loosen up yourselves, and have this graph in front of you. You can just make this graph maybe on a paper with a pen or a pencil and write doing, being, self, and others. And I would invite you to evaluate now when we come to the first quadrant, the doing and the self. On a scale of 1 to 10, where do you think you currently are? Give it a number. And the next thing, on a scale of 1 to 10, where do you wish to be in this quadrant? What strengths do you currently possess? You could write them down in this quadrant. And how would you like to use these strengths in your favor? What goal are you trying to achieve vis-a-vis reaching your full potential? And where do you currently see yourself? Moving on to the second quadrant, which is about service to others. On a scale of 1 to 10, where are you currently on this quadrant? Again, 1 is the lowest, 10 is the highest. Give it a number. You can write it down in this quadrant. And where do you wish to be? When we talk about where do you wish to be, you can give it a realistic timeline as well. An aspiration can always be a 10. And we could be close, we could be far, but giving it a realistic timeline, whether we're looking at 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 1 year. So say we talk about the next 3 months. Where do you wish to be? How do you currently relate to your purpose? What are you already doing in this regard? What more would you like to do now? In the next 3 months? Now we come to the third quadrant, being oneself. How do you currently relate to yourself, to your being? On a scale of 1 to 10, how connected do you feel with your being? And on a scale of 1 to 10, how connected would you like to be in the next 3 months? How would you describe your authentic self? What makes you feel complete? If you were to relate to yourself as a second person, how would you define this person? What would you tell this person about being more of? What hidden facets do you find in this person? Coming to the fourth quadrant, which is being in others. How connected do you currently feel with others on a scale of 1 to 10? Where would you like this connection to go up? How do you identify yourself within this circle? What do you think you're more capable of? What could strengthen your connection here? What would give you a higher sense of belonging? What would you like to be known for? Who would you like to be remembered for? On the side of it, you can start making a note of the next questions which I'll ask. How do you feel about what you've written in each quadrant? How do you relate to it? What are you becoming aware of in the current moment? What would you like to take up as your next step? Who would you like to be? What would give you fulfillment? How do you connect with what you've written so far? Having made a note of whatever you've made so far and whatever you've answered for yourselves, I would invite you to reflect on it and share what you would like to share with all of us here in this group. When you're ready, you can unmute yourself, raise your hand, or write in the chat box. I'm sure there's a lot of internal work that's gone in, some bit of challenge, some bit of reflection, some bit of courage. I hope you've been able to go through the questions that I shared and answer them for yourselves. Yes, Samuel. Please unmute yourself and share.
Um, wow, I must say this has been quite a deep reflective moment where I was able to analyze myself in so many angles and I was trying to gauge what I can share on the part of what goal are you trying to achieve under quadrant one. On this
Mm-hmm.
one, I'm seeing myself trying to achieve a goal of coming to know myself more. I'm growing in coming to know myself more and more as time is ongoing. And then the other part is where do you currently see yourself? I'm seeing myself as ever growing, ever learning, part of my personal growth. And then under quadrant two, where you had asked a question to say, what more would you like to do in the next 3 months? So on this one, I see myself on the part of continuing living my purpose by impacting others to be transformed in such a way that they come to learn about their potentials. They come to also understand that they are capable of living their own purpose. In that, I mean helping others to discover their own purpose. And then under quadrant three, you also made mention of so many things. And then one of the things that you had asked is what makes you feel complete? So on this one, according to me, one of the most important things that helps me to feel complete is being in a relationship with my creator, my God. And then apart from that, it is also by connecting with others, because I come to understand that I am always incomplete whenever I am alone. But by being with other people, I come to understand my limitations and also where the strengths of others come to be of great help in my life. And then lastly, on the part of quadrant four, where you had asked a question to say, how do you identify yourself in others? So on this one, according to me, I thought to say, I identify myself as somebody who's valued, accepted by others by virtue of me being in such a circle where I'm able to share something and certain people are able to tag along and they are able to benefit. And then what are you capable of doing? I'm capable of creating an impact, and this impact is to share information that is going to foster transformation.
Thank you so much for sharing this, Samuel. It's amazing. How do you overall relate to all that you explored today? Can you hear me, Samuel? Can everyone hear me? Hello.
Yes, you're audible, Sam.
Okay, perfect. I think Samuel has gotten dropped off. All right, let's wait for him to be back. Anyone else who would like to share? Anyone who would like to share their reflections overall after doing this? What are you becoming aware of? Come on, this session is for all of us, and without sharing, it's incomplete. I think Samuel has gotten dropped off. Anyone else who would like to share? I love this exercise for deep reflection on where we are standing in life and within ourselves. Thank you, Lucas. Anything that you would like to share about your reflection? So, what are you taking away from this exercise? Sure, Lucas, I completely understand. Anyone else? Just a reflection, overall glimpse of, the journey. So it can be a roller coaster journey as well, right? For you to go through all these 4 quadrants. So wherever each one of you are, it's perfectly fine. All right, so I'm going to invite you all to continue reflecting on these quadrants and what you have opened up for yourself today, and go ahead with the step, with the scale that you identified for yourself, and take that leap of faith. We'll close it here for today, and we'll see you next month for the next part of it. So I'm gonna keep it open for anyone who would like to ask any questions if you have, because this reflection will go beyond this session and we will dive deeper into this in the next session next month.
Hey, Sonu.
It'd be great if we can. Yes, Naveen?
Hey, thank you. It was a good session. I'm just wondering, like, what we will be doing during our next session, and is there any exercise or reflective activity for all the participants to complete before they attend the next session?
So I would say that having this quadrant in front of them of whatever you all have written, please keep that with you. You can keep adding on to it or reflecting onto it with the journey that you go through in this next 1 month till we meet again, and bring that reflection, this model of yourself that you created today, bring it back, and you would have added more to it by then. So we'll continue with the same. It'll be good to have this reflection and whatever you've answered for yourself today to bring back next month.
Got it. So basically, one more deeper analysis of our self-reflection, what we completed today, and then probably discuss about it and receive some more coaching inputs.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Cool. Thank you.
So we'll go into further coaching of this in the next session. All right, over to you, Carissa. Thank you so much, everybody, for being a part of this session.
Okay. So Sunam, thank you so much. First of all, I just want to hear, am I audible? And is everything in order? You guys can see me, right? Okay. So Sunam, first of all, I want to extend our heartfelt gratitude to you for this insightful discussion, for this wonderful session. I'm confident that the audience has gained valuable insights from today's session that they can apply in their lives. Thank you once again. So to our audience, a sincere appreciation for your participation today. Stay connected for more enriching in the future. We have a lineup of sessions designed to facilitate company growth, and we look forward to having you with us. Okay, so you will see that in the chat, I have pasted the link to our feedback form. Feedback is very important to us, and we would strongly encourage you to share your insights and your feedback with us. So what's up next? First of all, we have our Saudi Arabia community webinar tomorrow. So please go to our page, look at what events are lined up, and please do register for that. That's our next session tomorrow during the day. Then we also have our next coaching communities of practice session on February 14th, like Sunam told you, and we will be looking at purpose and meaning. So stay tuned for more details to register for this event. You would not want to miss it. We will share this recording of the session with all the participants who have registered and who have stayed the course for the whole session. We will also upload the session to our Agile People Ops YouTube channel. And once again, I would just like to express our sincere thanks to you all, and wish you a wonderful day, evening, or afternoon ahead. Thank you, and